just outside Boston. This is the Haven near Fishtoft. I'm going to have a walk down to the wash. Very windy day. It was a very high tide last night. Last time we came here, it was very dry. Let's see where the water's got to. Very windy, so I'll catch you in a bit. Every day's a bonus. We've come to the Steve Keithley cut end bird hide on the edge of the Haven on the outskirts of Boston. It was a really high tide last night, which means it's very low this morning, and it's amazing. Last time we came, how much higher it was. Look at all the mud. The good thing about the mud is we can see all the birds and we can hear all the birds. I've got the Merlin bird app, so we've been listening on the way up here, and it's absolutely fantastic, some of the species. I'll list them in the description because I've never heard of some of these birds that we've seen and heard, so it's absolutely fantastic. We're going to sit here in the shelter and see how many more species we can identify. Absolutely fantastic. Today's a bonus. Just listen to the sound of the sea. Anything more relaxing, is there? Well, you can see those in the distance. There's a swarm of birds. Probably not, they've landed in the trees. Let's see if I can catch them in a bit. Still in Boston. We've got this stump there in the distance. And we've got here the black sluice. You can see just there the black sluice a lot in the distance. Now this is amazing, this. Right down there on the edge of the river with them. The egret, isn't that fantastic to see? Look how fast the Witham is actually flowing. And across the back there in the distance is actually the Port of Boston, believe it or not. And I can remember when there used to be a weekly vessel that went from Duisburg in Germany up the Rhine and across here and finishing in Boston. Operated by RMS. I wonder whether that still operates or not. There we go, the Port of Boston. There's a bonus. We're at Boston. This is the River Witham here. See this bridge? It looks old and dilapidated, but it still works. This railway line here runs across that bridge, and there are YouTube videos of that bridge actually swinging across, joining up with this. These gates opening, those gates shutting to the traffic, and a train actually coming across and going into the Port of Boston. It's well worth watching for on YouTube. This is amazing though, isn't it? I mean, just look at the tracks. You can still see that they're used. And the old gates here. Absolutely fantastic, but look at the old bridge. and the old Port of Boston in the background. Every day's a bonus. Still opposite the Port of Boston, 3 traffic lights there, red, red and red, next to the Black Sluice Lock. What does red, red and red mean? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's where we're heading, but they're not open for 10 minutes. Just a quick look at the river. Very high. I can see Mr. Solar Face. That's good news, isn't it? 45 minutes, the sun is now out. And look at the water level. Never ever seen it this high before. Let's go and have a look at the Black Sluice. There's a bonus. Saturday 21st at 9:30. We're back at the Black Sluice Lock. We're in another high tide. I mean, it's dropped now. It was high tide at 9:45, 45 minutes ago. And look how much it's dropped already. You can certainly see how high it is today compared with last night. Look at all this structure here. And then we've got the Port of Boston across there, which I showed you last night. I might just go down there and have a look at those boats and see how they've moved. Every day's the bonus. Well, this is the railway swing bridge that I filmed last night. Actually, I can't believe how high the water is now. Just look at that and then compare that to the video from last night. That's unbelievable. I mean, it's a very, very high tide. I know it's dropped. It's dropped now probably 3 foot. So you can't comprehend how big the tide is. I mean, the guy said to me down there that it must have been 28 foot. Well, when we looked on the bridge down next to the sluice, it only went up to like 24. So a very, very high tide. And it's lovely to see that swing bridge for the railway. There we go. Every day's a bonus at Boston. Is this the end of the line?